Hey guys, it's Wenji here. I've been requested to do a draw my life for so long, but I've always been really daunted by this task because to put my whole life down on a whiteboard is pretty scary, but I'm going to try my best. On January 9, 1986, a little girl by the name of Wenji popped out. I obviously don't remember being a baby, but apparently I was impossible to feed and would take a spoonful of rice and suck on it for hours just to get the flavor out, but never actually eat it. My family was worried that I'd be malnourished, but I got by. I did enjoy ice cream and would negotiate with my grandfather to buy one for me every Sunday when I saw him, using apparently very mature negotiation tactics. Both my parents left for Australia when I was really little, and I was looked after by my nanny and my grandparents till I was 4. I remember taking the plane ride to Australia. It was a huge adventure, and I swear that during the flight I opened the windows and played with the clouds. It must have been such a vivid dream because the next time I hopped on the plane, I tried to open the windows and was really frustrated when they wouldn't open. When I landed in Melbourne, it was cold and dreary, and I remember my grandfather tried to cheer me up by buying me a packet of Smarties. They tasted magical. When I saw my parents for the first time, I cried. I wanted my grandfather to take me back to China. I didn't know who these two strangers were, and he was telling me they were my parents. I didn't know it at the time, but my family was pretty poor because we were just trying to settle down in a new country. So I grew up with a lot of DIY toys, like I made a princess doll out of a tennis ball and a Lee Kum Kee jar, or costumes out of paper so I could pretend I was a Voltron pilot. I was obsessed with robot animes, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles. Yes, I was a massive tomboy growing up. My parents tried to save as much money as they could, so even the vacuum cleaner we had for about 12 years was something someone threw out during garbage collection day, and my dad fixed it up. And my parents wouldn't even buy a new vacuum cleaner even though we could afford it until this one broke. My parents got new jobs when I was 7, and we ended up moving to a nicer place in Sydney. I didn't make many friends in my new school because I was painfully shy. I didn't know at the time, but I was just extremely introverted. Even the teachers were worried about how shy I was. They told my dad during parent-teacher interviews to take me out to meet more people. It wasn't my grades that were suffering, it was my social skills. So my dad tried his very best to take me outside to play with other kids. I think I developed a complex about this, so during high school, I ended up trying very hard to make a lot of friends and have an active social life. During my early high school years was when the internet came out. This was back when an MP3 would take an hour to download, and I would spend my time after school on the internet chatting to random strangers on Microsoft Comic Chat. By the way, don't talk to strangers, guys. It's not a good idea. And I even created my own websites where I would showcase my anime drawings and my love for fighting games like King of Fighters. Do you guys remember GeoCities? That was the bomb. Also, in high school, I remember having a huge crush on a guy with hair like Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys because he was so cute. And when he told me his favorite song, I ended up downloading it, and I waited an hour for this and listening to it 112 times that night. Yes, you don't want me to be crushing on you. I do get a little creepy. Oh, and during my final years of high school, something surprising happened. I'd been telling my mom to stop eating because I thought she was getting a little too, round. But it turned out her belly contained another little human, later to be known as my brother Jim. Hi Jim, you definitely cheered me on during my final exams in high school. You have an amazing set of lungs. Needless to say, I spent a lot of time studying in the library. During my final years of high school, when we were all deciding our fate of our future, my parents encouraged me to apply for a co-op accounting scholarship. They told me very early on they weren't going to be paying for my uni fees, so they thought the extra money would help me out. I had always thought I'd be a fashion designer. I used to make all my own clothes, and I used to be inseparable from the sewing machine. A graphics designer, or maybe even do psychology. Accounting wasn't really something I wanted to do, but I knew it'd help my family tremendously financially, so I tried very hard to make all the requirements, and I couldn't believe it, but I actually got the scholarship. My next 3 years of university was a blur of summer school, night classes, and full time work. And my limited social life consisted of meeting various people on Dota servers, since that's all I kind of did outside of my crazy schedule. In fact, I developed such a strong work ethic. Actually, some of you may call it being a workaholic. To this day, I don't know whether it's a talent or a flaw. Like any good Asian daughter, I got a job in a big company doing accounting straight after uni. My brother was growing up and needed his own room, and because our home was kind of small, it ended up being my room that he needed. So I moved out when I was 24. I guess my mom was preparing me for this day for a very long time. 4 years into being an accountant, my boss came to tell me about my poor performance, and I didn't blame him. My heart just wasn't in it. It wasn't that I absolutely hated what I was doing, but I didn't have a chance to express myself creatively, and that had always been a huge part of who I was. And yes, creative accounting is illegal, so it wasn't really an option to incorporate creativity into my job. So at that point, I decided to resign, and it was the first time in my life that I really had to make my own decisions and that I wasn't doing things for other people. It only took me 25 years, but it was very, very scary. By luck or by fate, I ended up becoming a social media consultant. It was a fairly new position and not something anyone ever really studied in university. So my new boss gave me 3 books to read, and with absolutely no experience, I got my first major client. Soon I had 12 clients and headed up the department. It meant late nights, and sometimes I would be getting pictures ready at 12 midnight, and being available 24 hours a day was kind of a requirement since social media didn't really switch off. That being said, I enjoyed it tremendously. So much that I decided to start my own blog about fashion and beauty since I figured it was a way to practice my skills while talking about something I absolutely loved. 2 years after I started my blog, I remember I got asked to work on my first real project with a shopping center in Singapore. It felt unreal to be traveling to another country to do a campaign for my blog, even though I had to pay for all the flights and accommodation myself. But it was the first taste to what my life could be like. After getting more requests to share my makeup looks, I decided to officially launch my channel on February 11th, 2013. In fact, at this time, I actually wasn't on YouTube a lot other than just watching random viral videos or just cats till 2 a.m. in the morning. So I actually had no idea what I was doing, and I was just uploading videos that my blog readers requested, and I used YouTube to kind of embed it into my blog posts. So now I was making videos and still posting twice a week on my blog. It was really tough on me. I would come home from work and then film or edit videos till I slept. I used every single lunch break to edit or work on my blog, and my workmates were just so used to me telling them that I couldn't even join them for lunch that they stopped asking. I had no social life to speak of, and my home didn't even resemble a home anymore. It literally just looked like a studio. The situation got so bad, I ended up on national television as a hoarder and had my whole apartment decluttered and renovated while everyone watched what a mess I got myself into. Even though it was tiring to juggle both a full-time job and making videos, I was motivated to keep going by all your love and support. Every single comment and words of encouragement gave me extra energy to try harder. Even when my long-term relationship fell apart, I continued to make videos, and it was such a great distraction from it. And looking back on what happened, even horrible things happen for a reason. And if it wasn't for what happened to me, I would never have had the opportunity to open my heart to Max, the most loving and supportive person in my life. With the encouragement of you guys and Max, I had the courage to quit my job, which I decided to do in August 2014. I got engaged to Max at Yosemite National Park in August 2015. Since that day, I have made over 300 videos on my channel and started to daily vlog on my vlogging channel. My family has grown to over 1 million beautiful people, and every morning I wake up to spend time with you guys because you all enrich my life in so many ways I can't even begin to describe. And even if I never get to see all of you face to face, I think about you guys every day and vlog my life for you, for better or worse. Thank you so much for being here for me. Every time you click on one of my videos, I hope to grow old with you and share with you everything I learn about this funny thing called life. I love you guys so much, like you cannot even believe. In fact, saying all this is kind of making me tear up now. So I'm going to sign off with this, and I hope you enjoyed my Draw My Life. Wenji.